All right, well, the jury's still out on this next guy, number 23 on your list. Will he crap in the pot?
Number 23. This might surprise some people. I know. But Justin Fields will come in as number 23, the Chicago Bears starting quarterback. You know, again, Greek god. We got that. Insane runner. Like insane. Like where you go, it's insane enough to, when you put him up there with some of the better receivers and running backs in football, you go, it's as dangerous as some of those guys in the open field. But his throwing is a collection of great plays with no consistency. In fact, his overall quarterback game is that. And that's where he's 23 for me, right? Yeah, I know. Hey, you look at some of the games where he had good stats and good runs, and you go, ooh, but they lost. And he still made a number of, mistakes or bad throws in those games to where I can't buy into it yet. I got to see a little bit more before I can start to say, oh, he's ready to take over the world here or do something special, right? I think,
where are the bad throws coming from? Why are they happening?
His motion is still funky, and he has no confidence in his throwing, right? He turns down more what I would call NFL open throws than anybody I watched in the top 40, where you go, no, he's open. It's tight, but that's NFL open, and he doesn't want to throw it because he doesn't trust where it's going to go. And that, I know. I've been there before too, where you lose confidence, your mechanics are a little off, and you go, wait, I don't control it. And you start to turn down plays. And your coach goes, well, why didn't you throw it there? And you go, you make up an excuse. I just didn't, I saw a little color flash or something like that. And it's actually like, no, I was just a wimp, and I don't know if I can really trust where I'm going to throw the ball right now.
So here's going to be the problem for you.
Yes.
Is that I think the narrative out there on Justin Fields is he is a future star. Like his throwing is good enough, and it just makes that running, which is kind of where you've ranked him here, right?
Yeah.
It's like that running is so elite that almost alone puts him here at 23.
Right.
And if he was just to take a little bit of a step forward, he could be in the teens and flirting with top 10. Is that the potential of Justin Fields if he was able to take that next step?
I think so. Yeah.
Football?
Yeah, he could be a guy, certainly. But again, with all that and the highlight plays and all that we're still talking about way below average consistency and surgicality throwing in the football game, in the throwing game, right? It's all those highlights and everything else. They broke out the Wildcat offense and did everything like that. It translated in one win, right? And that's where you get into it and you see that. You start to go, wait, hey, this is awesome when you play it on ESPN or NBC Sports highlights. Yeah, these are cool to watch. But then you start to break down the game and you go, oh man, he missed this throw. Ooh, or he should have thrown it and didn't throw it.
My Detroit Lions game last year.
Right, exactly
one
right.
Of the craziest runs that we saw in the NFL last year.
Craziest runs ever, but also threw a pick six and mixed some like wide open people in some big moments, right? If I remember correctly in that game. It's not a game I went back and watched film for this specific exercise there. But yeah, and with his throwing, to get back to that, it's still too elbowy. Right? When I really break him down, and I wish I would have brought a football for him because I meant to. You know what I mean by elbowy. And if people are watching, it's this. I understand a lot of people get their arm to this spot, but they don't start with, let me get it to the spot and then try to throw it. It happens like naturally within the unfolding of other things is when people get to that position. So he starts there. Right? Which I want to go, would you punch somebody by starting there? Would you do anything with power by go, let me jack my elbow up and do this, right? Nothing would I do to go, that's going to be optimal power, right? So he is that. The other thing that really, because I knew you were going to ask me that question, is the ball is so far away from his body. That's another thing that I noticed where Rodgers, Allen, Mahomes, the ball's right here underneath their chin here. He, at times when he's starting to throw the ball, you could put a person in between him and the ball. It's like he's got it around somebody. Like somebody's there, like he's bear hugging, and the ball's on the other side of their body. Where you're going like, well, why all the space? Why invite the extra room to move and let your arm get out of, the perfect mechanical position it should be. So those are things that I go into. So let me hit on some other ones here too. All right. I'm sorry.
No.
I talk about the throwing, right? He doesn't throw great spirals. The ball can blow up on him a little bit, especially in the win in Chicago. His motion, his throwing motion is slow for this day and age in the NFL. It's very deliberate, and his arm is not real strong. It's not. And I don't know. I think his arm is strong. I think he's afraid to step on the gas because he doesn't know where it's going to go if he steps on the gas, right?
It's like a pitcher who has bad command.
He's like, man, I just don't want. I'm going to keep throwing the curve and the changeup and the slider because every time I throw the fastball, it's a ball, right? So I think there is that. Thank you for that's a good way to exactly say it. Now he's tough as hell. His running is insane. He's one of the most dangerous runners in the NFL, any position in the open field. I love all that. He can't flick it as a thrower because of some of those mechanical motions, right? And hey, the other thing too is you watch the games, they don't trust him. I mean, they don't trust him. You can tell what they go long periods of times without not having him having to make a decision or make a throw or whatever. I've never seen a team who got in 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9 more and said, well, we'll just run it or throw a screen. We don't want to, where it's like, no, but that doesn't mean you're a top quarterback in football, because the top quarterbacks in football, everyone's going, it's 3rd and 8. That's all right. Our guy's good. He's good in 3rd down. We're going to open up the playbook. In fact, this is great because we can be aggressive and he'll be aggressive. We'll get the first down, right? They have to almost do the opposite at times. You can't be a top quarterback in football if they're scared to call the plays they want to call on 3rd down. Sorry. I'm just sorry.
But what about this? What if you can still be a successful NFL team because he is so good as a runner, and we saw it last year.
Yeah.
They started designing things for him as a runner. He had 76 rushing yards per game, which led all NFL quarterbacks and was right up there. He was over 1,000 yards last year. I mean, he was up there total 1,100, over 1,100 yards, as Pete says in my ear. I don't want to shortchange Justin Fields. So he is so good at that part of his game that, you know what, even if he does have these deficiencies that you talk about, you can scheme around that and you can design an offense that could be pretty dangerous.
That's what they're trying to do.
Guys like DJ Moore right now.
Right. DJ Moore, Claypool, Mooney, Cole Kmet, Roshan Johnson.
Those are pretty good weapons.
Yeah, they draft. O-line's going to be better. Drafted an O-lineman, right? They're going to try to fit the Jalen Hurts mold, right? And try to do that and just try to, I think, run that type of offense, and we'll see if we get growth. It is a little Jalen Hurtsy in that fact that, again, I know people got on me for Jalen Hurts last year, but I want to go, wait, like the Eagles were, even though the best roster in football, like the odds were like the 10th best team to make the Super Bowl last year before the season. Why? Because people didn't know if Jalen Hurts could do that. They didn't know he could. Can he make some throws in a big game? He improved that. I got to see that from Justin Fields before I can start to say, oh, he's a top 10, 12, 14 quarterback, right? That's just the way I look at it. And then there's some other things that are less than with Jalen Hurts. Okay. He's definitely not the leader Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts is arguably like the best leader in football, right? So there's that, right? There's also, Jalen Hurts, even though his arm is still not special, had better control over the ball than Justin Fields does. I want to make that clear. And played the position better in the pocket. There's too many plays where I look at Justin Fields and just go, he's not even looking downfield. He's just looking somewhere to run. Or I don't even know what he's looking at, right? There's some of that. And I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I'm just trying to tell everybody, what I'm honestly seeing. And that's where I got into. It's a collection of cool plays and no rhythm, consistency, and all of that. Right. Not great anticipation, all that. So it's all throwing base is where the negativities are there. There's too many NFL open wide receivers where the ball is not thrown or off target, right? And that's where he's really got to progress this year.
I'm not going to let you stop there. I'm going to throw another negative thing at you because we saw in that last graphic he has 55 sacks, so he was sacked 55 times. That also led on all NFL
That's what I mean. He's not good at that. Where do I go with the ball when I get pressure and all that?
Let me throw something at you here. There's another podcast out there that talks about football. I thought we were the only one, but I guess there's more out there. Locked on NFL Scouting. This is Kyle Krabs, who is on a podcast talking about this, and he said, and I want to get your reaction to this, I don't think it's necessarily a reading of the field issue for Justin Fields. I think it's by the time he gets back there in the back of the pocket and set up to throw, there's not the proper cadence in his drops to go with some of the route concepts. And so he was making the point that maybe that he doesn't have that urgency getting back to the back step of his 5-step drop or whatever it is, and that by the time he gets back there, some of the route concepts are too late and he's just too slow on some of it.
I definitely see a handful of those every game where you go, there's not every, you played a little quarterback. Not every 5-step drop is the same, right?
Yeah.
There's plays where John Gruden would go, hey, I want a big 5 here on this play. Stretch it out. I want 1, 2, big 3, big 4, big 5, gather, throw it up. And then we could have a same play and still a 5-step drop, and you go, hey, I need a, big first 2, and then I need a quick 3, 4, 5, and get the ball out of your hands here. And that's the rhythm of the play. And yes, those are the nuances I'm talking about. And then that leads to, other things where it's like, wait, that guy's already out of his break now because I was a little too slow. And now I don't even look to the second. Or you look at the second and you go, well, you're way too late for the second, right? And now it's let me run or do whatever, right? And that's, again, this is where he has to improve.
Can he?
I think he can. He showed growth. He did. But it's going to be. This is one where it's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Again, there's a reason. I've said this on the show with Florio. There's a lot of people. A lot of people that believe that if Bryce Young was 6'2", that the Bears would have traded Justin Fields and drafted Bryce Young, right? It's just the size thing scared them. There's a reason those rumors were out there. They're seeing some of the things I'm seeing, of course. They're a little scared. Not great anticipation, doesn't see windows. I told you, I don't think his arm is necessarily really strong, all right? And we'll just see where it goes from here. But, those are some of the negatives, and he's an awesome, awesome person, player, runner, physical specimen. But as you know and I know, right, we've only seen, one running-type quarterback get to the Super Bowl, and he was on clearly the best team in football, right, in the Eagles. And they still didn't win playing that way, right, to a team that was lesser than them. So that's where it's just, again, it's hard to win that way. Just I'm going to run. You got to do some of the other stuff.
But he is so good at that, and he makes so many great plays.
And he scares the shit out of me.
I love watching him play.
He could be a fantasy. I mean, Matthew Berry might have him the number 1 guy. And
he's number 7 right now.
Okay.
But he could have him as like my guy, who Jalen Hurts was last year. He was like his guy that he would take a stab at in a draft. And so, ride or die. That's right, ride or die guy. And it could be Justin Fields.
I know.
I haven't talked to Matthew, but I'm getting that feeling that could be the guy this year. All right, so one thing's guaranteed, though. You will be talking to Chicago sports media throughout the year, and you'll be either talking them off a ledge on Justin Fields or trying to defend yourself on why you're not as high on him.
Isn't it hilarious? Has gone like full 360, right? I mean, you know how I was a jerk early on in his career when he got drafted, and they wanted to hear why I'm so wrong in my evaluation.
Yes.
To where we're in the season last year, and then you saw me do a Chicago interview right here at this desk, and they were all negative, and I'm sitting there trying to stick up for them now, and bring them back to reality. The truth is in the middle there somewhere. Definitely. There are some things that I absolutely love and that are elite about his game. And like I said, I wouldn't have traded him because of that elite running ability and what you can do around him, right? Yeah. And now let's just see. Hey, we drafted him. Let's see if we can make him, better in these areas and start to formulate the offense that makes sense around him.
Yeah. And it pains me to say that because I've made it very clear I hate the Bears.
Oh, we know.
So it's just like for me to talk positively of one of their players, it hurts.
Yo, thanks for watching, homies. It's the off season, but there's no off season for us here at Unbuttoned. Me, Ahmed Fareed, we're going to hit all the stories. So hit subscribe for us, okay? We got a ton coming up. My draft prospect rankings, my Simms top 40 quarterback countdown, and videos of me and NFL QBs playing catch and talking about their development and mechanics. Again, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. See you soon.